Good evening, I'm Joe Ginger, and I had the pleasure of videotaping 3 of the city of Canton's best. I found their stories to be interesting as well as educational. I hope you enjoy the program. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Edward Glad. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Canton Police Department in the City of Canton. Today with me is Scott Rose and Mike Julian, the new chiefs of our police and fire departments. Scott Rose, if you could, tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been with the fire department.
I got hired back in 1997, so it's coming up on 25 years this October. I came from Pekin. I grew up in Pekin, and then once we got the job here, we came over here, and originally I had planned to maybe go back and test at Pekin since it was my hometown, but coming to Canton with the guys at the firehouse and everybody who was there at the firehouse at the time, and it just worked so well. The people in the community, it just was a good fit for my family at that time, and we've been proud to be here ever since. So.
Okay. Mike, this is Mike Newland, the Canton Police Chief, and how long have you been with the department? And,
basically same as Scott. I was hired in September of '97, so we're coming up on 25 years each at the Canton Police Department. Prior to that, I worked a year in Lewistown on the police department, and a few years in Farmington on their police department, 6 months in Cuba. Basically, I've been doing this since I was 18 years old, as either an auxiliary policeman or an actual police officer.
Okay. And Scott, can you tell us a little bit about your career at the fire department before becoming chief?
Before, when I got out of high school, was looking for something to look into before that. Took one of the tests that came along, and firefighter was one of the things that stuck out on that testing. Looked into it at Illinois Central College, and that's where I went to get my associate's degree with that and go through my EMT class as well. So with that, started testing around different places. Just as you do in the fire service, you just don't test one place, you try to test all around. And Canton was one of those, and I was able to get hired with that. Since coming on with Canton, growing up through that, we have a range of services that we provide the fire department. One is through hazardous material response team. I do sit on that for quite a while through the department. Technical rescue team, which handles different things from high angle rescue to trench rescue to different varieties of things like that we're on teams as well. Also the dive team. And I was a prevention officer, which meant that I was associated with one school. I would go out there and do the trainings for that. So fire prevention has always been a big thing. Since I've been at the fire department, because everybody at the firehouse is in fire prevention, whether they're heading of it or not. It's always our chance to get the word out about fire safety and kind of go from there.
Okay. Mike, since we're on the subject, how did you get into the idea of law enforcement? Is it just something you always wanted to do, or?
Yeah, basically I've always been the kind of guy that, even since I was a little kid, having a paper route, I've just enjoyed meeting with the people. You know, they would ask you in, visit with you, and just I'm huge on community. Straight out of high school, I went into the Marine Corps as a little bit of background. Probably never would have been involved in law enforcement if I didn't go into the Marines. Taught me a lot about leadership. Brought me out of my shell that I lived under in high school. And just basically from there, I got on the auxiliary police in Lewistown.
Right.
Made friends with a bunch of the older deputies who were able to teach you things and teach you all about law enforcement. And from there, like I said, each department was kind of a stepping stone. My ultimate goal was always to work in Canton on the police department.
Right, and since your career in Canton, I mean, you've had a couple different hats you've worn, so can you talk a little bit about that?
The main and most popular one for me was the canine officer. My dog was named Rocco. Loved him to death. He'd do anything for me, I'd do anything for him. That's been my favorite job in the police department. Since that, got promoted to sergeant, lieutenant. Just love working with the guys and, helping take care of them. And I'm a people person, so I feel good whenever I can help somebody out professionally or personally.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so we'll go back to you, Scott. As far as the atmosphere in the fire department currently, would you say it's obviously a younger crowd over there these days? As far as you got a bunch of new guys coming up, newer, younger firemen?
We do have, it just kind of turns over, and with people retiring, of course, you get new hires coming in. So we have a lot of good, we just have good people at the firehouse. Our main goal is to work together. That's how we solve the issues that we have to go out and ask to solve, whether it's a fire, whether it's an EMS call, whether it's anything that comes about that the fire department gets. We strongly work together as a team thing. And with the younger guys, just like myself when I was, we stress to them to kind of watch how everybody handles situations, because that's where you learn the most from the people that's been there and how to handle that situation the best. So we do have a bit younger group, but we do still have people that have been there a while that the younger guys can get information from and see how they work and relate to different situations they're in to help build them as they go through their careers. So it's always good to have that young and old at the same time, because it goes hand in hand with learning.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like you have a good group of guys over there to mentor the younger guys.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. I know you kind of mentioned that yesterday. Actually, we were talking about something totally off the topic, but you talked about mentorship and some of your pastime.
Yes.
You were talking yesterday, and I kind of feel like you've taken a lot of time to learn from various mentors and kind of tried to pay it forward.
Right. Always just like, so you can go to the school and learn, the basic law enforcement at the academy, but you really don't start learning until you're out doing the job. And like Scott said, you may talk to this person and you have no idea how to handle that situation, but if you step back and watch the older guys handle it, and then and how easily they can get something done, and you would be like, oh, okay, I get it now. You see what I'm saying? So you just watch them and you learn. I would spend any downtime just going through reports that the older guys had wrote and reading them, and just to figure out exactly how a good report would sound. In my mind, I thought, I can write a really good report, but until I started looking at them and learning from how they did it, that's what made me become a better officer. So I try to, like you said, pay that forward. I'm always checking, how are you doing? What do you need? Can I help you?
Speaking of that, I've noticed, working in the office with you, that you are still getting used to the idea of being in the office, and you like to still go out on the street with the guys and, and do things like that. So I guess that's in a way your way of mentoring them by still, leading them.
Right, by example. You want to be like, I've always had the idea of, if I was to be the chief, that I would still be out on scene with the guys, and like Scott, if there's a major incident, we're going to be out there. We're not going to be sitting in the office. And if you're out, then they're going to be like, oh, I better go out because, hey, the chief's out making traffic stops, or the chief's out serving citations for this or that. So they kind of get to follow, hey, I better go do that too. You know what I mean? He's not just sitting in the office all day long and talking on the phone and doing things that other chiefs might do. So I try to be different.
Well, and that's something you mentioned yesterday, Scott, was about being the fifth person on a shift to go out and do your bit, when your guys are doing whatever they got to be doing during the day.
Right. Yeah. A lot of times we have 4 people on shift. The chief and then administrative assistant, Cecily, who's in the office. So anytime now with the fire chief's position back in there, anytime the guys would run on a call, or it's a fire call or a wreck or something like that, when I'm there during the day, I can respond to that as well, just to give the extra set of eyes, because in our situation, there's so many different ways a direction could go, whether it be a call or whatever. So we rely on everybody's eyes as well as with the police and everything else. The more eyes you can have, the better.
Right.
In some situations, it's hands. Some situations we're going to, like you said, with Mike and I myself, we're going to have to step in and do that. And it's in the position now where we didn't have it over the last years that I can go do that. If we have an incident where it's a fire, I can put the gear on, I can be the outside in command and give our shift commander time to go be hands working, whereas before he'd be outside. Because that contact coming from the inside out as far as in the house and the guy watching this outside of the house is so important because we want to know everything that's going on in a fire in the house, even though visibility is bad, changes, heat, smoke, what are you seeing and what are we seeing on the outside, because that's got to match up. So with having that extra person, it just gives us that much more maneuverability and able to get the job done quicker.
So would you say, both of you, I guess this question is for both of you, would you both say in your current positions that living in a smaller community like we do, that's something that's plus, is that you're able to actually step away from the administrative part of it and actually still go out on the street and help and contribute that way?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like almost something that you have to do. You know what I mean? With the, budgets and the way money is these days, even for a city this size, it's just not like we have tons of revenue coming in from different things. So we have to make the most out of the manpower that we're allotted by our budgets. So if we have to be out there doing the job too, I mean, that's a small town police department, small town fire department, and if we need to be out there doing it, then that's what I'm gonna do, and I know Scott is, because since he's been appointed, we've done something together almost every day, or at least twice or 3 times a week, of just different projects. I mean, the teamwork is already, to me, we've been here the same amount of time, we've known each other the whole time, and it's going to be cohesive.
Right, and I think that's kind of one of the things I kind of wanted to point out was obviously in the last several years we've had a public safety director which was over both the police and the fire, and now we split that job back up to where there's a chief for each position. So I think that, like you said, it's a good thing that you both have worked together for so long and kind of you both come to be really active in the community personally. Speaking of that, do you want to talk a little bit about your life, your personal life a little bit, like?
Oh yeah, no, I live here in the area with my wife, and we got 4 kiddos: Parker, Abby, and Grace. And always keep us busy doing a lot of stuff, through sports, through school, with that, and just been able to live a pretty good life with that in the community. And we're just lucky. Like you said, when I go back earlier, when I said when we made the commitment to come to Canton, it was a big decision, to come to a different place and that. But just being so welcomed and everything we do with that has been so engaged, and the community has always been there for if we've needed something or other people, and that's always nice to see, and always nice to be on knowing that if something did happen, you could count on that. So community is a great thing, and it's a great square, and saying, hey, this is kind of where I need to be. So
Good. Mike?
I feel the same. I live with my wife, and we have 4 kids also here in town. I've been huge, Joe, from me being at the YMCA constantly. I've done teach martial arts there, coach soccer there, coach basketball there. Pretty much as my kids were going through, I was following them along doing that with the YMCA.
Yeah.
They would call me if they were short a coach, and I would be like, yep, I'll be there. And that just, if you can change a kid or make a kid better, push them in the right direction early on, then that's just something that we're not going to have to maybe deal with as they get older.
Right.
Kids in the community are huge too.
Yeah. And as far as community goes, for example, I know that like the police department does different things, the fire department does different things. Do you think it's something that moving forward that we can kind of look forward to seeing maybe the police and the fire department working in concert together for certain projects, fundraisers, or what have you, like the Halloween thing, or maybe, I know we've got Santa Cops, but maybe, we can do different things with the fire department, the police department together at the same time. Is that something you guys would both be?
I think we've already kind of started that, so if I've got something going on, for instance, the Halloween thing that we did last year, we always try to contact the fire department to say, hey, you guys want to get in on this? And they did, and it ended up being a whole group, like fire department, ambulance, different agencies even came. And then for him, if they've got something going on, they're always calling me and saying, hey, we're thinking about doing this, do you want to get involved?
Yeah.
So yeah, anything that we can do to help the community is a plus.
Okay. Either one of you have any particular thing you want to talk about as far as any upcoming changes as far as equipment, personnel, training, anything that you can see on the horizon that you kind of want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, go ahead.
One of my main goals, and we've got it in the budget for this year, is to restart the K-9 program for the police department. When it initially started, it was a huge community investment. The community put the resources together by donations and everything to get the K-9 unit started. So to me, it's mandatory that we get it back in here for the community, because the K-9, there's obviously a drug issue here in the town. Nobody's going to deny that. Not to be negative, of course, but
to be honest,
we need it for that. The K-9 is good for, bringing kids in. Everybody wants to see the K-9. What's he do? How does it work? It's always fun to watch the K-9 work. Obviously, they don't always get to pet it because it's not a pet, but
right.
It's good. We'll take the K-9, we'll be out and do demonstrations in the public. When I had the K-9, I went to probably once a year, I went to each school and did a demonstration in Canton. And again, I would always talk about, hey, don't do bad things, don't do good things. It's good for law enforcement to get that message out to the kids. So that's one of my top goals, is to get the K-9 back in session.
Anything, Scott?
No, we just with COVID over the last couple of years, getting out to the community has been a hard thing to do, and that stopped a lot of the things that we were able to do as far as the contact kids to school.
Right.
We've been able to do some things with tours. We would do a walkthrough tour or video and then get that to the classroom, and with technology it's been nice to be able to do that. But in saying that, there is nothing better than going through a police department or a firehouse where the kids can see, touch, go through and get that environment of what we do, because we both are in a service where we're there every day. We don't get Christmas off. There's always firefighters there. There's always police there. All the holidays, there's always people there, and that's our job. And we expect that when we hire in the job to do. But it goes in with that. But just getting out to the community is a big thing, as hopefully the COVID's settling down and allowing us to do that, and just getting that eye to eye, with people and understanding and availability to ask questions. The firehouse was always open, with her for a long time, because we would always have people walk through and you get some of your questions, and everybody always says whatever class you take, there is no such thing as a dumb question, and there's not. But people just a lot of them don't really understand. Some of them don't know that we're there all the time. They think that
they actually live there for 24 hours at a time.
And our shift is a 24-hour shift. We start at 7 in the morning and we go to 7 the next morning, and then there's 2 more shifts that follow that. So we're on for 24 hours and then we're off for 48. And then that's our schedule for until we would happen to be either promoted or maybe change shifts through that situation. But getting out to the community is something that we're going to try to move forward on to get things going again, because you just can't replace that contact with people.
And that's kind of the thing is, of course, we obviously have had our fair share of tours come through the police department, and and they, as he said, they always want to see the K-9, or they want to sit in the squad car or whatever. I'm sure the same way with the fire department.
Lights and sirens.
Yeah, we always get them. We always say, this is where they think we got to have a place to sleep. We got to have a place to eat, but we show them that washer and dryer. We got to wash our own clothes. We got to do our own dishes. That
Right.
They're like, whoa, what's going on? And that's just part of being a firefighter. It's your second home, and everybody works together, and you got to clean the toilets. You got to do everything else, and as you would at home. So.
Yeah. But, okay, well, is there anything else you want to add to the conversation today?
I would add that I just want to thank everybody here at the police department. I know coming in, I've had a lot of expectations that people may not have thought I would have, and I like to get things done, and so I might ask, hey, have you got this done? But I just appreciate everybody putting forth the effort. We got a lot of good men and women working here, and I know there's going to be higher expectations, but I appreciate the job that everybody's doing now, and like he said, we work together as a team, and we just get the job done. I mean, anytime there's going to be an emergency, I can promise you that it's going to be all hands on deck, and everybody's going to work together fine.
Yeah, I mean, with Mike and I being the chiefs, we're the figurehead of what people see. But what they don't see is all the employees working together to make that job great. And that's something we both like to reinforce to everybody is, how good of employees that we do have that makes a scene, that makes a fire scene come together so good, makes the police situation come together so good. It's the quality of employees that we do have, and we can't echo that. I mean, say enough about them because everybody working together does. It makes everybody look good, and we are not one. Me and Mike as well are not one to say, yeah, that's our deal. We did that because we're going to tell people no. I mean, we can't do that without the people under, with the ranks and in that below that make the fire department, that make the police department work so well. So. We can't thank them enough, and we thank the city for letting me get the chance to be a fire chief and kind of go with things. And I'm still relatively new. I just took in June 7th, so there's a lot of things coming and going, and situations that maybe I didn't see as I was with an assistant chief, how the internal workings are. So getting through that and things, but looking forward to it. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time today, and it was really good talking to you. And hopefully, in the future, we'll have maybe a chance to sit down in maybe a few years and see where you guys are.
See where we're
at. Yeah. See if there's anything new or exciting that's come through the pipe since then. But other than that, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.